how do I obtain optimal peace of mind? Mm-hmm. That's what I look for right now. And so if there's anything I can buy that gets me that peace of mind, I'll go for it. Knowing when to like give up on an idea. And I think that's a very important thing that everyone should have. If you're running a company, if you're building a product or a feature. I'm into watches, right? I'm into like cars. I'm into like all these other things now. And like, those are things I dreamt of. Fun fact, I did I searched of myself on one of these databases. Yeah. I'm like looking through it and there's a criminal record terrorist on there. He just jumps around, hops around and like goes to different like places like water parks and like theme parks.
Yeah.
Like,
how old is this dude?
Like 40 or something.
Tariq, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure, guys.
So you were number 5 at Applovin, a company that IPO'd for $30 billion about a year ago.
Yep, that's correct.
So now what do you do all day?
Man, that's the question that everyone asks me. What do you do after that happens? Well, I have a wife and I have a daughter. And so a lot of it is just really spending time with her. My dad, he worked 2 jobs and he never really got time to spend time with us. And that's one of his biggest regrets. And so that's something I've always remembered. Him telling me, hey, man, like, I wish I could take you guys on a trip. I wish I could, spend more time with you. But I knew he was working from 6 a.m. to midnight, providing for us. And so always take that to heart.
Yeah.
And so main thing for me is spend time with my daughter. She's 3 years old. So I feel like I've been blessed to spend as much time possible in those early years and maybe help grow her or mold her in however I feel she should be molded, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
And so I definitely get a lot of joy from that because, at this point in my life, that's one thing. But it doesn't hurt, part of it also is like on a day-to-day basis, sometimes I'm just looking at where to travel to next, where's the next hot spot for me to go. And so sometimes it's with family. Yeah. Sometimes it's with the boys. Sometimes it's solo. And so, that's the great thing about time, right?
Yeah.
It's a rare asset that not many people can obtain. And so that's one thing I try to take into account in my life is, hey, you have all this time, spend time with the family, but also enjoy life while you can. Yeah. And, at this point in my life, I do have peace of mind. And that obviously helps when you've come, you have money now. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. We were 3 brothers and obviously a dad and a mom. And so it's a different dynamic when you're 3 brothers. It's a lot of testosterone. And so a lot of like fighting, like literally physical fighting would happen.
You guys would just beat
beat the shit out of each other all the time. Maybe not so much Shafaq. He was the youngest one.
Yeah.
And so he always got babied. And his whole tactic would be, I'm just going to go tell mom. Yeah. I'm going to tell dad. And, whatever we would say would not work with our parents. Yeah. Because he's the baby in the family. Yeah. I'm the oldest, right? So it's like, hey, you should be the one to teach them and be a role model to them. And, I try, you try as best as possible. Yeah. But man, come on, man. When you're young dudes, it's natural to just be competitive. It's natural to just do competitive things, right? Whether sports, video games, throwing controllers across the room and just like, I'm going to punch you in the face. Those things happen, right? And so, but at the same time, also when you step out of the house, you're ride or dies for each other. If someone's saying something about your brother, one, they might not even try because they know, oh, he has 2 brothers. It's not worth it, man.
Did you guys get into a lot of fights?
I was never the fighting type.
Yeah.
My the middle brother, he was more so that type. He was on the football team. He was more of like he'll speak his mind kind of guy, and he wouldn't be afraid to tell the truth. And so that always got him into issues where, next thing you know, I have to jump in. And so we're from like East Side San Jose, which is not, a nice part of San Jose. I don't know if you know East Side San Jose, but
I never knew there was a not nice part of San Jose.
So most people, like when they come to San Jose, most of them probably just know of North San Jose because it has like the bigger tech companies like Cisco and like a lot of like hardware companies. But not many people venture downward.
Yeah.
East San Jose is kind of like Southeast San Jose. And that's where, you'll find gangs of all sorts. You can find brown gangs, Asian gangs, whatever you want, it's there. Whoever you want to join, you got it if you want it. And so you always kind of have to navigate properly because you never know who was who. Now, obviously in high school, everyone is nice to some extent, but you can easily get caught up in the wrong crowd. And so, not saying my brother did, right? He was a football player, and so he was just around a bunch of guys, and so like. I know there's been times where he's got caught up in like arguing or getting into it with some other guy, and so I'd have to just jump in, or I'd have to call my friends and yo man, like Sharuk is that was his name. Sharuk is got involved with something. We just gotta show we have manpower, if you want to call it that, right? And sometimes that's enough. So yo man, that guy has homies.
Yeah, they'll just back down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So. Yeah, that's kind of how it worked. But yeah, for me, I was not really that. I was kind of like the diplomat. Usually. And I would be like, hey man, like, is this going to affect my future? And it's all about really like how much risk are you willing to take, right? Yeah. And is it worth it or not? Some of us want to be doctors. Some of us want to be lawyers. Some of us want to be entrepreneurs. Yeah. And some of us didn't want that. Some of them, just living as the day goes. And so when that's the case, sometimes you're still in that bubble of just beef, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
So, there was a point where, I'm in the startup and my friend's in a startup and one of my friends is in residency or med school and we get this call where it's like, hey guys, so-and-so is in trouble. We all need to meet up here in 30 minutes. And that place was called Top of the World.
Yeah.
And this place was just like...
Why is that funny? What?
You know about that place?
So Top of the World is it's one of those like viewpoints in Fremont. I say viewpoints because like
quotation mark?
There's actual good viewpoints. Okay, there's like Communications Hill, San Jose, Sierra Vista. I don't know if that's Milpitas or San Jose, but it's like on the line probably. Mm-hmm. And so in high school, people would just go there and take Instagram pictures, the exact same like pose, and you'd see a new one like every 2 days, or someone post on their Snapchat story. It's like, how many times are you going to post the same picture of you in like Communications Hill?
Yeah, totally. And like back then, I didn't really travel much, and so like Top of the World was like sick. Or back then, a sick view. It's like when you finally go out into the world, that view was shit. Yeah. What was that?
The come up from Top of the World to everywhere you've traveled now.
Exactly, 100%. Like Machu Picchu, bro. You looking over, dude. What
Machu Picchu, Top of the World. Like he was on that level.
This is like not top at all, man.
100 feet over sea level, and they're like, wow.
Exactly. So there was a point where like, man, like we'd get the calls from all of our friends who are going into professions, right? And you're like, hey man, like, are you thinking about going to this thing?
Yeah.
Man, we have to, man. We have to go because that's our friend.
Damn, yeah.
And so it was like good 5 minutes conversation amongst like, me and my friend who were in the start, Furqan.
Yeah.
Oh, and, Furqan was there too?
Yeah, Furqan was there.
Furqan at Top of the World.
He was there, by the way. So like, it was me and him at our startup, and we get the call, and we both look at each other. It's like, man, we're like just coding away. We get this call saying, hey, you guys have to be here. In like 10 minutes, we're all going to meet up there. Yeah. We're in like downtown San Jose.
Meet up for what exactly?
So I forgot what the real issue was, but someone stole someone's shoes or something. I don't know.
But there was beef. Like you guys were pulling up to
and so like we all got the call. Hey, whenever it doesn't matter what it is, man. It's like something is happening with one of our friends. We need to show that hey, we're a whole group here. Bring your group. We'll have our group. Let's see what happens. You hope nothing happens because I'm trying to make my future here. Me and Furqan are like, hey man. We're trying to raise money. I'm not trying to raise fists, man. I'm just trying to
raise fists, not money.
Raise money, not fists.
Yeah.
Flip that.
Did I screw that up?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So, but then we got a call from two of our other friends who are like in med school. Like, hey man, like, you guys going to this thing? And what do you guys think? And I was like, man, we got to go. So we end up going there, and like there's 30 of us there.
Oh my god,
30 people for
30
shoes.
of us, and we're like, hey, we need to show like you don't mess with us, and we're on Top of the World. And and this like, and I'm in there like, dude, I don't belong here, man. This is not me anymore. I never was like this, but but luckily I think the other group, they had cars drive by to scope out the scene, just to see like who they have. And, I think our group was just too big that no one showed up. Thank God.
Nice.
And so that was the last time I ever like did anything like that ever again, which could have been potentially life changing.
Yeah. So you never know what could happen, right?
Totally. Yeah. That's what I was thinking in my head. And like me and Furqan were like, man, never again, man.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So you and Furqan were co-founders?
Yeah.
What were you building?
So it was this event platform. This was back in 2008, 2009, using text messaging. This is before, I think, when iPhone became iPhone came out in 2007, and like apps were there early on, but we're still kind of changed the event management, the way event management works with events, I guess you want to call that. So we used to go to clubs all the time and this nightlife stuff. And, back then it was just very archaic, write people's names down if they came to the, particular place. And it was just, to us, it was very archaic. It was like, come on, man, like, do you really need to do that? And so we were like, hey, you know what, maybe we can provide this cool platform for event planners or venues where they can see who's coming and going. And they also have the data now to see, hey, this is at this time people start coming into your venue. These are males and females. And then also now that you have their numbers, you can kind of just, blast marketing campaign.
You know who would have loved that? Tao group. The Tao guys would have been all over that.
Which Tao guys?
Do you know the Tao? Like the Vegas?
Club? Yeah. The one in SF has something else.
I don't think they have one.
Yeah, they don't have something else. I was thinking about Temple. There's one.
Temple,
I got wrong with
But Tao, they got all over.
Yeah, but that was like back then. But then, it was like really a bad time, 2008, 2009, because of the financial crisis. And just, it was just a really bad time. But we were doing that for like a year and a half to 2 years. But man, in that time, man, we learned so much, man.
Yeah.
We learned so much in those 2 years where, from the outside, it looks like a failure, right? But in those 2 years, man, I feel like I set myself up for, my future and pivoting, not even say pivoting, but just moving into another company.
Okay.
And so I learned so much in those 2 years, just having 4 or 5 of us. And, when it's that small of a group, you have no choice but to learn things that you're not even comfortable with.
Yeah.
And so I would go into meetings with Furqan, and I've never really done that, right? I'm just a guy from San Jose State who has a computer science background.
Yeah.
And now I'm going in to these meetings with Furqan and just kind of understanding how that works, right? The business side of things.
Yeah.
And so, and that's just one example, but there's many other things, that I guess you could say I put under my belt in those 2 years. Yeah, sure. The company didn't go anywhere. It was a really bad time, but I look at that point and, for sure say I wouldn't be where I am now if that didn't happen. So,
interesting.
What would you say the biggest thing you took away from that, company failure success was?
I feel like I think the biggest takeaway I had was the fact nothing came out of it, but I became more confident, man. I became way more confident in my skills and my ability, where I felt like I could go anywhere else and showcase what I'm about. And so, not just obviously, like I said, the engineering side of things, but, it made me more well-rounded as a person, even with communication skills too. Because, when you come out of college with a computer science degree, I don't think communication is really that important or really something that they try to help you with.
Yeah.
And so just joining or being part of a startup from the get-go right out of college, I think it really helped my confidence even in my communication skills. And so it's a combination of those two.
What was the transition from Live RSVP to whatever was next?
So the company after Live RSVP, we did that for 2 years. I don't exactly know how many years we did it, but I think around 09, 10, I joined this company called Reputation Defender. So it's like an online privacy company where it helped the individuals erase or delete their data online. So, when you could search someone's address or search someone's name, you could find their phone number or their address and all that stuff, right? And that stuff is paranoia for a lot of people. And you can do a monthly subscription where we can remove you from. There was like so many of these. This still exists. Spokio, Merlin, Locate Plus, People Finder, all those things, right? That back, I don't know how it is now, but like back then, you can easily search someone's name and you can get their phone number and like address pretty easily.
You still do that, right?
Because of the records of homeowners.
We actually even had access to these databases directly, where I was able to like search like my name and see my social security number and like my mom's social security number.
Like all the numbers?
All the numbers, full on, and criminal records too. Fun fact, I searched of myself on one of these databases.
Yeah.
I'm like looking through it and there's criminal record terrorist on there. And so I was like, what the hell? This is messed up, man. Yeah. I'm a terrorist. And so there was like terrorists out there with my name, Tariq Ahmed.
Yeah.
I think from Pakistan. And they merged the profiles, I think. I don't know what happened. Yeah. But somehow, somewhere, there was a false positive, and they merged my data in their data, and it says criminal record terrorist.
And there's no other way we would have known that.
Yeah, I would have not known that, right? And so, to me, I was like, man, it makes sense why I get probably blacklisted every time I go to the, when I land in America, I'm always sent to the interrogation room.
Wait, that would happen like every time?
70% of the time.
And you were just always.
It still happens to me. It just happened like 2 months ago. Same thing happened.
Really?
Yeah. And it kind of decreased because I have a wife and kid now. I think. Yeah. But I still get like the interrogation room. But anyways, I searched Obama's name. I'm not gonna lie. I searched Michael Jordan's name to see their addresses, and I kid you not, man. They
got
had
everything.
Their historical data of all of the places that they've been. Yeah. And so, like, I didn't mind. I saw, Reno. I was born in Reno, Nevada. Yeah. I was able to find my the apartment that me and my parents, lived first. And I was like, okay, that's proof. They have that. I asked my mom, is that our address? And she was like, yep, that's our address. Yes. And so, it's crazy what's out there, man. And I don't know if they show that stuff publicly, but we had access. We were paying a certain amount per month, I think, to have access to these databases. Yeah. So it's a combination of like scraping these like public sites, but also having access to these databases where we would just directly hit their API and just delete it. And so I don't know where this database was being used. Yeah. But we just had access to this database. And I don't know if there was like some, trading going on, like, or selling of that data and where it's being used. Yeah. But it had a lot of people in there.
So how long were you at Rep Desk for?
I was there for like a year and 8 months or 9 months, actually. It was not that long. Yeah. So then, I still had to prove myself, though. Like, I went there and I interviewed, and initially weren't ready to hire me. Yeah. And then I was like, hey man, just give me 1 month. Just give me 1 month, and I'll show you what I'm capable of. And the VP of engineering at the time, Thomas Dignan. Shout out to Thomas Dignan, wherever he's at right now. He's like, okay, I'm gonna give you a 1 month contract and see if you're capable of doing it. And I worked my ass off. I worked my ass off for 30 days straight. And then the CEO at the time, he was doubting me. He actually interviewed me. Never forget that guy. First time I interviewed him, he was the last interview when I went in there. The dude comes in, puts his feet on the table, has sushi, starts eating. Just kind of has this pompous arrogance to him. Yeah. Not saying like all people who graduate from Harvard are like that.
This is a big company.
But he fit the stereotype of that guy from Good Will Hunting. That there's that one scene where they're at the bar and
when the book.
Yeah. So he just reminded me of him.
That guy. That's so funny. I watched the movie like a week ago.
Yeah. Speaking of that, of the CEO, I know I'm going off all over the place. But
tell me about this Harvard CEO that eats sushi.
This guy was the most arrogant motherfucker on the planet. Yeah. And we would go to these like company events, right? We would go to the A's game, and he would not join us in the bus. He would come in his own special car, and with his assistant, and he'd come out. He had nice long hair, and it would be blowing in the wind. He would have a scarf.
You worked for Adam Newman?
Might as well, bro. He kind of does look like looks like a beefier Adam Newman, actually.
How big was this company for this guy to be doing all that?
There was 200 employees, I think,
so it's pretty
at
big.
the time.
Okay.
Yeah. But he was definitely feeling himself because I think he thought he was the brand. because he had nice curly long hair.
Was he like a personality? Did he do a lot of like talks and like did people know him well in the industry?
That's what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Right? He was trying to really just put himself out there and be the face and just do a lot of those PR stuff, or he would go on on TV or like on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah.
Get the brand out there, get him out there.
Yeah.
And so it's a win-win, right? Him as the brand and the company as well.
So then after Reputation Defender, I think, was that Applovin?
Yeah.
So Furqan went off to start Applovin.
Yeah.
And then he looped you back in?
Yeah. So I was there at RepDev for like a year and like 9-10 months. And I was I was not feeling it, And it felt really long, actually. Those 1 year, 8-9 months, whatever it was. And so Furqan already had left. And he was telling me, hey, man, like, I'm at this company with these founders. At the time, it's called Mingle, mingle.com. It was like a social dating app. And back in 2010, it was still early, right? Like, I don't think Tinder existed fully. Or maybe it was...
It's probably Match.com or one of those older ones.
Yeah, it was probably at its infancy. So he was telling me, hey, we're doing some cool stuff here. The 3 founders, they've been successful in exits prior to this new venture.
Yeah.
And so they're self-funding this whole thing. They can do this for like a year or 2 years and then just come here. And so I was kind of thinking about it. I was like, hey, I had some other friend telling me to join Facebook. There was another company, Chegg. There was like the bookstore.
Yeah,
so I was like thinking then like maybe I should try to like see if there's any other opportunities. But then, Furqan's really good at persuading people.
Yeah.
Say, no, man.
We know. Yeah.
Yeah.
We know.
No, man. Come. All right, man. Okay, I'm going to come.
Okay,
But
it wasn't that
him?
persuasive.
Yeah, I trusted him.
Okay.
Come on, man. Furqan's a smart guy himself.
Yeah.
And like,
but you had other offers. Like you definitely wanted.
yeah, but like,
Yeah.
also there was like 1 or 2 other people from Reputation Defender that joined.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, these guys are smart guys. At the end of the day, for me, what's most important is like who's around me.
Yeah.
Well, obviously the camaraderie is great, but like it's nice to be around people who I think are smarter than me.
Okay.
That's the most important thing to me in life in general is like, how do I surround myself around smart ass people? And to me, I always thought they were very smart and I'm going to keep learning from them. Right. And so, like I said, like even through like LiveRSP, RepDev, I was around smart people. So to me, even if things didn't work out as they did, like just being around that environment just really made me a better person. So yeah, that was a huge part of it. Furqan's persuasion skills, and then just knowing that I'm still going to be around smart people. And I got a chance to speak with the founders too. I just vibed with them very well, and yeah, that happened. And at that time, it was mingle.com. But then within 3-4 months, we pivoted into a company called StylePage, which is very similar to Pinterest.
Yeah.
And so we were like, hey, let's try to do some like cool personalized curation of what you like website.
Yeah.
Obviously what Pinterest is. And so we tried that for 3-4 months, but then I think we saw Pinterest got their inflection. And our CEO, Adam, was insightful enough and smart enough to realize this is a niche area and there could only be one of these companies. And so we went to a lot of different ideas. We had like some a mobile app called Experience Me, kind of in the same line as like WhatsApp, but just now you can share your...
Wait, it's called Experience Me?
Yeah. And that sounds crazy.
How far did that get for you to say it?
Not far. Now you think about it, like it sounds very much OnlyFans like.
Yeah, that sounds...
Okay, before OnlyFans, I would have not thought about that. To me, it was like, oh yeah, you can experience my travel. Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, I'm sure if the users pivoted into doing something, maybe would have leaned in. But all right, now it's this.
Yeah, but it was like a social sharing.
It was a way for you to kind of just like a timeline of sharing your travel experience with all of your friends. Like, hey, I'm uploading video, cool. I'm uploading your pictures. Now I can share it to all the people who I care about. And now there's a timeline. It was like
Facebook. You're just pitching Facebook,
kind of, but more so event specific. Here, this is a specific event, and so I got a chance to learn Android and iOS. Within 3-4 weeks, and so we tried that, and we had like 3-4 different ideas, and like we kept pivoting, and so what happened was like after our third, fourth, fifth try, like a couple of the people in our company, like the engineers, were like, "Man, where are we? Where are we? We have no direction. We're just throwing random darts at the wall without really any kind of planning." And so we had a couple of people leave because they're like, "Man, I think there's no direction. There's no direction in this company." For me, I was like, "These guys are they're just funding this. They don't need anyone to fund this. As long as they have ideas, as long as I got a job, this is great. You
Like
know,
the
I can
founders,
keep trying new things. You know, I'm doing full stack development, Android, iOS. I don't care. I'm learning. At the same thing, my theme has been just to keep learning, right? Obviously, if things are successful, it's great, But hey, at the very least, I'm learning here. And so we tried one more thing, a social app. Applovin was the name. We pivoted to what it is now. But Applovin before was a social app where you can see what your friends are downloading. And they created a social aspect around it. Oh, my friend is downloading this game. I see it on my profile. Maybe I should download that. Oh, this person is downloading this, so maybe I should. And it was kind of like, everyone has their own profile of what apps that they're using. It's kind of a way to get people to, And so, we tried that. But like at some point, like I said, half of the team left. And, like I said, I felt like, hey, you know what? Like, sure, all those things failed. But like I think on January of 2011 or 12, all the three founders came in to the meeting and they were like, hey guys, we tried 4 or 5 different things. Yeah. We're going to go back to what we know best. We tried Style Page, we tried Experience Me, we tried this and that. We're going to go back to what we know best, which is advertising. And mobile advertising was where we're going to go. Yeah. So they've done, web advertising, social advertising on like Facebook and so on. So the next common sense path is to just go into mobile.
This was what time frame?
2010 or 11.
Because I remember because I would do marketing events, and I remember 2012, 2013. Like we would sit in rooms, and executives would go, "There's no way mobile advertising eats up more than 10% of the ad spend," and they would hold up like the phones we had, and it'd be like, "No one's gonna consume video content on this thing." Yeah, and it's like they didn't. I'm surprised you guys you were even earlier.
Yeah. So Google bought a company called AdMobs back in 2009. Yeah. And that was like I think the only one at the time, or at the very least, the only big one. And so that was an indication, hey, we should jump in this thing as well. And so, they had their pitch deck and everything. I bought into it because like I said, hey, I'm still learning here. Yeah. I feel happy here. These guys are going to, always fund this thing because they have money from previous exits. Done. The others left. And so it's always interesting because like I feel like that was one of those very pivotal moments in my life too, because I did think, should I leave? Should I go? And my decision was partly was what I just mentioned. And then in hindsight, I look back at it and realize all of those pivots that we made was a genius. Is what made Adam a genius, because he was quick to realize this is not working and let's just move on to the next thing. And I think that was his genius throughout our company at Applovin, to this day even, which is like he was able to figure out this is not worth it. We tried it. Let's try it fast. Yeah. 2-3 weeks, if it doesn't work, let's quickly just move on. But to a lot of other people, it just seems like, dude, you guys have no direction. Yeah. Obviously when you have an idea, you have multiple ideas, like you're going to want to like try them, but like to them or some people, it just seemed like, man, like what are you guys doing? We're doing this, we're doing that. I mean, if you have the money,
interesting.
You have ideas, why not just try them until one of them hits? And so, but the real part, like I just said, is knowing when to quit, knowing when to like not be married to something, or just not be married, but knowing when to like give up on an idea. And I think that's a very important thing that everyone should have. If you're running a company, if you're building a product or a feature, realizing quickly if this is going to pan out or not.
Is that enough time though, 2 to 3 weeks to just kind of know? Yeah.
I think, not everything was 3 weeks, but like I think some are like 1 month or 2 months. And so I can see if you're an engineer working on something, building a product, and then all of a sudden you scrap it. Yeah. Right? That would be very annoying to a lot of people, right? Yeah. Not to me, because to me, I was like, hey, man, I'm just building and this is fun. Yeah. But yeah, like Yeah, I guess you have to look at it as a case by case basis of what we're building. Is it 3 weeks enough? Is a month enough? 2 months enough? So I wouldn't say everything was 3 weeks. I just use that arbitrary number.
It's a lot of Founders Inc. type culture, it sounds like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And so you were number 5 there. How big was the team when it eventually IPO'd?
Man, so we acquired a couple of gaming studios too, and so that kind of jumped up the employee count. So I think when I left, it was like 2,000 or something like that.
It was 2,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we acquired some companies that had like 500, 600 people too, like gaming companies.
Yeah.
Like one of them was called Machine Zone. Another one was called People Fun. But like, yeah, when you're trying to build out like these full-fledged AAA games, you need a lot of people to build these games.
Wait, how'd you go from mobile advertising to games?
Oh yeah, so that's another story. So yeah, we went through mobile advertising, and I think we realized back in like 2017, 18, hey, like we have all this data, knowing what's popular, what's not popular.
So you're killing it at this point with advertising.
Like our mobile ad network was killing it. We were like we are the biggest independent ad network. If you take out Facebook and Google, those are the two biggest ones. And so I think realizing, hey, we can probably make our own games. And so one of the early guys, Rafi was his name, convinced Adam to, hey, let's just start making our own games, man. I think we know. I think we know what works, what doesn't work, and let's just invest some money into that. And so, yeah, thus the creation of Lion Studios. Lion Studios was our gaming studio. Just keep churning out these hyper casual games, and then later on these actual full-fledged games. And that ended up becoming very, very handy for us because now we have first-party data.
Yeah,
access to like exactly like kind of what people are doing in these games, and we have more insight now what these users are doing, which could help us with our mobile ad network in terms of determining which ads would work or not work. Yeah, so that was like a game changer, and I think a lot of people after that started following us, being an ad network and also a gaming studio.
Yeah, I've never heard that combo.
Huh. Yeah. I guess it's interesting because now it's almost like you own the advertisement and you also own some of the distribution, right? So you have a game with a bunch of people playing it. You can pump ads into it, and it's like a flywheel.
Yeah, exactly.
So once you had this IPO, how did your life change after that?
Man, for when that whole thing was happening, it's interesting because everyone looks at a certain event and expects it to be the end of the race kind of thing, right? You run and you're like putting your hands up and like I did it, and you have this like euphoria. But I didn't feel that, and I think a lot of people end up with that same feeling, which I felt, which is like, oh, I did it, that was cool. And it was really like the journey, right? Maybe it sounds very cliche, right? It was really the journey that really made the whole experience amazing.
It's like winning a championship.
Yeah. But okay, even when like a team that you root for wins a championship, I don't know, maybe this is me.
Yeah.
I felt like what was more thrilling, the more emotional part of it was like all of the crazy moments in between.
Yeah.
And then the championship is more of a relief. Oh man, like I can't believe we did it.
Who says that? Bob Myers. The Warriors GM. He says every title, like 1 minute before, like we know the clock's running out, we won it. In his head, it plays through. All
100%
story. I attest 100%. I agree with you with every Red.
Because that's what happened to me.
Red Sox the only team I have that have won titles. But every time once you get to that last pitch, your mind starts racing back.
100%.
Like, this was all the moments that led up. Yeah.
And so for me, I thought it was like a great, for me, I was like, man, I can't believe I did it.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how much of an impact it was on my family. Like I was mainly thinking about me and like, yeah, man, I can't believe I did it. And like, I'm just proud of myself kind of thing. Yeah. But man, like the way my mom felt, the way like my brother, the way my uncles, my dad's brothers and sisters, my cousins felt, that actually felt way more amazing to me. Like they were coming up to me or they hit me up, messaging me and like, man, I'm so proud of you, son.
Yeah.
You elevate the family's ceiling to another level. I'm like, damn, that's deep. And like I wasn't expecting, I was just doing it,
Shafak just sitting there like, oh man.
Because I had my picture on the Times Square, right?
Yeah.
And I sent it to my. I didn't think much. I was happy for myself. Oh man, I can't wait to post this, right? That's what I'm thinking about myself. Yeah, I'm gonna post this on Instagram right now, and I did.
Yeah.
But then my mom sent it to my uncles, my cousins. And for them, it was like, holy shit, our family name, because I'm a representation of our family, right?
Of course, yeah.
Like my grandfather came from a village, and now we're freaking on Times Square. That's the kind of mentality they had. It was like, wow, like I can't believe it. And plus, my dad passed away in 2014. And so for them, a lot of it was like, I'm a representation of my dad, right? And for them, there was like, so-and-so's son got this far.
Yeah.
And, for them, it was like a legacy, more like I'm his legacy. And for them, seeing me was like a extension of my dad's hard work. And so I think that was like really what hit me more than anything was like, hey, I did that on my father's behalf. But then, I started seeing a difference in all my uncles and all these, they would like, the way they would talk to me was like, welcome to the big boys table,
Yeah.
And now it's no longer I'm the child. Sure. Even though I'm like 39, they'll always treat you in that same manner, like, hey, you know what, I'm still older than you. But it's more like, come join us.
Yeah.
You've made it,
They start pitching you business ideas?
No, it's one of those things, okay. Once you got to that level, everyone thinks you have an answer for everything. Like, even if it's not like engineering related, now everyone goes to me for like financial, advice or like, real estate or like
I know about real estate.
COVID or like
COVID?
Like, hey,
with COVID?
like, like,
Which vaccine is better?
yeah, like stuff like that. I'm like, bro, just like
Your face was on Times Square.
I think
Tell
that
me
happens
everything.
though. I think really that happens with people who've made it.
What do you think that is?
Like, I've seen this on Twitter a lot too.
Yeah.
People who've made money now feel like they have the answers to everything on Twitter. And I hate seeing those kind of people, by the way. Like, just because you made money in Silicon Valley doesn't mean that you're smart in other aspects of life, And so, but people feed into that hype.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because people go to them asking for advice. And now they say, maybe I do have the answer to everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know. For me, I try to keep myself like, hey, man, like, you're not that guy.
Yeah.
You're not that guy, pal.
You're not that guy.
Yeah, I'm telling it to myself here, So, yeah, it's interesting. Everyone just goes to you now for answers. And
His affirmations in the morning, it's like, I don't have the answers.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep myself in check, bro. Like, don't feed into the hype, But yeah, that's one thing I realized, like, everyone puts you on another level because you hit this milestone where now there's some credibility with you. And there is some, I guess, but I don't know. I try to be the same person. Like, yeah, it's changed in that sense where I feel like the way people see me has changed now, or now everyone tries to pitch me an idea as well.
That's
what
I was saying. Yeah.
That's one thing that happens all the time. Hey, I have an idea. What do you think? People think you have an answer for everything.
Do your friends come to you and like pitch you stuff?
So that's one cool thing. It's like, the friends who are on top of the world.
Yeah.
They still treat me the same. They don't see me as some like guy who went to IPO or anything like that.
Okay.
Same with like, me and Furqan have the same group of friends.
Yeah.
They don't like when we go somewhere, they don't talk business. They don't talk, and we just all talk shit to each other. And like, we just talk about the most lamest, dumbest things, Yeah. And so I think they themselves don't see me as some dude like that.
Okay.
And so, for them, I'm not there to like, I bring something else to the table, in that friendship, which is not that. And they value something else more.
Maybe that's part of the why you don't, those Twitter people you're talking about, or they probably don't have that same system of people that are keeping them in
I
check,
do agree with
right?
that,
Real friends are hard to come by.
100%, yeah.
There was Hassan Minaj. I saw a clip on TikTok. He was with Jimmy Fallon. But he was basically saying, like, once you reach a certain age, late 30s, you don't have any friends.
100%, yeah.
Like, you're not, like, we play Xbox and video games and, like, hang out, watch sports. But it's like your friends are just, like, people your wife has friends.
Yeah, exactly.
And they become your friends.
Yeah.
But it's like there's really no true connections anymore.
Exactly.
And I feel like that, I mean, you seem like you guys are still in that circle and you've kept that strong.
Yeah, like we'll still go to Hole in the Walls, or I'll still go to like their homes. And I'm just like a regular guy in that scenario. I feel comfortable, right? I don't feel like I have any difference. So, but I mean, look, man, with money, you do get all these amazing opportunities now, right?
Yeah.
Like in terms of what else has changed, like I'm into watches, right? I'm into like cars. I'm into like all these other things now. And like, those are things I dreamt of. Yeah. Like when I first started working, my dream was to get like a Cartier watch for $5,000 because that was my way of telling myself, yo, you made it. You got a job. You know, that's a big deal. When I started researching watches and I'm like, God damn, there's $200,000 watches out there. Who the heck is buying that? And I was like, damn, there's levels to this thing. And so, you know,
just talking about that in the car.
Yeah. So I've become like really into watches. Like I really can go deep into like whatever passions I have now, which is really great.
So do you collect, like invest?
I mainly do it for the passion aspect, but they become investments now.
Give us some highlights. What do you?
What's that Chrono 24 look like?
So I have this. I have a Rolex here. This is called a Daytona. Stainless steel.
Nice. Okay.
I have a couple of Pateks.
Yeah.
I have what else do I have? I have Cartier, but like mainly I do it for the fun aspect, and they ended up becoming investments.
I was gonna say because my buddies they were into this in like 2008. Like buying
like if you got watches anytime before 2017, 18, like okay, the thing is before 2017, 18, even 19. It was much easier to get a watch from an actual dealer, like a authorized dealer. Yeah. They would be there and you could just go pick one up. 2019, 20, a lot of money just started coming in from crypto and like 2021 became
Gadget.
Yeah, 2021 became like another level where like it was impossible to just walk in and just go get a watch. Literally impossible. You had to have a relationship with a watch.
It's because of manufacturer. That's what I heard. At least it's because of COVID. For whatever reason, the parts, something in the process of building became more difficult.
So Rolex themselves actually just could not make as many because their factories got shut down. And same thing happened with Ferrari. Same thing happened with a lot of these luxury brands, which is like, hey guys, like we can't, because they're not doing mass quantity. They're not producing an insane amount of whatever that they're making. Yeah. So, you know, it was already kind of limited because they want to keep the exclusivity factor, right?
100%.
So that was already it. But then now you tie into the fact that all these people have money and everyone's trying to get, you know, one particular watch that's instant profit. Like, there's like Rolex, there's a lot of Rolexes, you know, it's probably one of the best watches for investment. Not saying you should look at it as an investment, but if you get a Rolex, it should at the very least hold its value. Now, things could change maybe in 10, 20 years where they're not considered cool. Yeah. But Rolex plays the 100 to 200 game, which is like, hey, we want to make sure our brand is, you know, just as hot 100 years from now, right? They never play a short game. They could keep making money if they want to keep producing more or releasing this particular model because it's super popular. The Daytona is like a very popular model. They could go into that and just keep making more, but you know, at some point it's going to lose its cool factor. And, I got you. And then you still have to think about other things like, hey, the people who have the most money are the older people, right? Yeah. 50, 60, 70-year-old. Do we want to keep giving those guys the watches? We have to keep... We got to make sure that the younger generation also gets a certain allocation of the watches that we make to keep creating that cool exclusive feeling.
Interesting. So I've seen, I guess, you know, you talked about collecting watches and cars. One thing I'm curious about is, what about your like day-to-day, like the clothes you wear? So do you still shop at like, for example, Uniqlo, H&M?
I do actually. I think this might be Uniqlo actually, but I still stick to like, for me, what's more important is the fit. And so if it's properly fitting me for my particular body type. And so I have stuff from Target that actually fit me better than any other white t-shirts out there. And so I'll go. Yeah, I have actually. My wife actually got me a Goodfellow shirt yesterday because she said, I know you like that one shirt and I know it fit you really well, so I'm going to get you that one. And I was like, heck yeah, let's go. Yeah. 2 days ago, I went to Uniqlo with my friend because he wanted to get some stuff. I told him, hey man, Uniqlo does, if you want some essentials, go to Uniqlo. It's great. And so I do, but I also buy some other like nice quality stuff because I want sometimes uniqueness. I want to get something that no one else has. Yeah. And so I'll go to like a Brunello or something like that. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, I really like these joggers. I know no one else is going to be wearing these. And so I want to get those. And so, but I'm not always just going straight to like the high. There has to be a reason why I want that particular product, that particular clothing.
What's the first thing you bought after the IPO? Like when the money hits your bank account, right? And then you're just sitting there. Yeah.
That's a good question, man. It must have been a watch. I think it was a watch.
It was a watch?
Yeah. I think I bought... I I bought this like IWC tourbillon watch, and it was expensive watch, and it was $100K. It was $100K watch.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so there was only 50 made. It's a limited production, 50 made in the world, and I happen to have the one of the few remaining.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm into watches and like, you know, for that one, like it's IWC is like up in the, at least in North America, is an up and coming brand. It's really well known in Europe.
Yeah.
But so what I'm trying to say is like, I'm not looking at it as an investment purpose, because if I was to try to sell it, it wouldn't get what I wouldn't get back what I paid for. I just really loved how it looked. And I just really loved the fact that it was a tourbillon.
Yeah.
I just loved the craftsmanship, and I was like, I have to have that watch. And so that was it. But then indirectly that opened me up to so many other watches, because hey, you know, because a lot of it's relationship and purchase.
Once you get the first one, then you get access to the
other like, hey, you know, you bought that. Hey, I'm gonna give you I'm gonna get you a Patek. And so I got like a Patek Aquanaut, which is like hard to get, super hard to get.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's nice.
So that indirectly happened. She was like, hey, you know what? Like, I think part of it is also, like I said, they play the long game.
Yeah.
A lot of their clients are probably like 60, 50 years old. I'm like a young guy who just came up with money.
Yeah.
We want to make sure this guy's happy.
For the next 20 to 30 years.
20, 30 years. I'm going to go straight to them.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, it's pretty interesting, man. Like, yeah, it's an interesting world. Like, knowing like the same watch dealers are like working with like athletes like Steph Curry. You know, like, Like my watch dealer is like Steph Curry's watch dealer.
Oh,
and
really?
so he's always telling me some cool stories about, you know, like going to Steph Curry's house and this and that. I'm like, yeah, man, please tell me more, bro. This is fun. You know, like, man, this might be my way to Steph Curry, bro. I'm
hey, man, you got that database with the addresses.
Yeah, I know. True. Not anymore, man. I wish if I stole that database, maybe, but no, that would have been all bad. No, I did not. I did not.
We're about to be back on top of the world.
I know.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
What about traveling? Does it ever get boring?
No, man.
Really?
Traveling does not get boring, I feel like. I mean, for me, there's like various forms of traveling. One is with your boys, one is with your family. They both give different levels of enjoyment. I like to go now travel with my wife and daughter just purely to see my daughter's reaction to things. You know, we took her to Legoland. Man, I was excited just because she was like excited, you know, just showing her the world, like, you know, the type of enjoyment that kids have, the excitement you have, they have, like, I'll never have that kind of level of euphoria. Never. Like, even like IPO happened, or if I got a watch, or if I got something like that.
Really?
I don't get that kind of joy.
Winning a title, because you're a big sports fan. Winning a title didn't bring you that? The first one,
I think it was more like, but like, I think it was like a very, like, okay, when you see a kid's reaction to just getting a surprise gift or a toy, it's them running around and like, you know, like super excited, or like going into a Legoland or a Disneyland. She hasn't gone to Disneyland yet, but like just seeing, like, because for them, they have nothing to reference.
Yeah.
Everything is brand
Everything's
new.
Yeah.
Super new. And so like seeing it through their eyes is insane. Like they've never seen a dragon made out of Legos that's like 10 feet high. Yeah. You know, we've seen something of that nature. Yeah.
Vishal's like, yo, take me.
Like, what is the heck is this?
Your brother's taking off work to go to Nintendo Land.
Oh, yeah, he's like, guys,
that looks sick,
he's that excited.
Dude, he's excited.
Yeah, I'll be excited for that. But even then, if me and my daughter were to both go in Nintendo Land, she would be like
blown away.
Like, this is like, you know how we have no concept of heaven? Yeah. And I'm sure like if heaven exists and we were to walk in there, it'd probably be the same feeling as her going into Legoland or like Nintendo Land, because like, yo, what is this place? You know, this is crazy. But yeah, like I think I get a lot of joy to see her reaction to things, and
because you're gonna remember. I mean, she probably won't for the most part. So
like I got her to I got her to watch Frozen. I don't like Frozen, by the way, but like all the kids love it, so she had to watch it because I guess other people are watching it.
Okay.
And so, but I'm super excited for her to see Lion King. That's my favorite anime film of all time. And I'm like waiting until she's like a year old, 1 more year old. So she's intelligent enough to see what's happening and being fully engaged with like, not just the entire movie, but like, you know, Mufasa dying, man. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Spoiler you know, like.
You really said rest in peace.
Said rest in peace.
That's the only movie I almost cried in.
It's an animated movie, right?
Yeah,
Wait, when's the first time when you were a kid?
Yeah, that was like okay. I watched it when I was like
30.
Come on, no, I watched it. I still watched it when I was 30. Man.
That still gets you every time. When you...
my throat gets all dry and everything, and I'm like, damn, man, like, what's happening here?
He knows what's gonna happen. He's watched it before. He's like, why is this happening?
But like, I just can't wait for her to see that reaction. I've been waiting for her to see, like, we all have certain movies that we love, and like, I even seen TikTok of people. Kids showing them or parents showing their kids Dragon Ball Z for the first time.
Really?
The first time Gohan levels up, and like that's like a very iconic moment for a lot of us who've watched Dragon Ball Z. Like let's see if she's into it. I would love to show her Dragon Ball Z. I would love to show her Lion King. I'd love to show her like epic moments in my life in my childhood where I'm like, yo, man, do you remember that one time that happened? And we all like this is before the internet actually, where you had to wait to go to school and then talk about it, and it was like, that's all everyone talked about on that Monday. Dude, did you see what happened on the so-and-so? Yeah. That's cool. The build up to just meeting your friends and talking was really cool. So yeah, I'm excited to show my daughter that.
I'm curious to talk about a little bit about how you think of raising your daughter with, obviously now that you have money, but before that, we've talked about some travel stories. What does it look like to travel when money isn't like an issue?
Man. So what is it like when money isn't an issue?
Isn't an issue in traveling. We're talking like first class. Like.
Yeah. I think like literally at this point, it's like, how do I obtain optimal peace of mind? Mm-hmm. That's what I look for right now. And so if there's anything I can buy that gets me that peace of mind, I'll go for it. It's not really about the luxury extravagant, which is always nice, but like, business classes gives you a peace of mind. Having a car come and pick you up and take you is a peace of mind. I haven't done anything like crazy like private jet or anything yet, but maybe.
It was coming.
I saw that yet. I was like, huh?
Maybe. We'll see. But like, at the very least, like business class does the job. It does a really great job of just giving that peace of mind, being able to fly for a long period of time. So this, during the whole travel process, there's all of these different parts where it's just you have to think about. And it's like, oh, okay, gotta do this. Oh, I gotta do that. Oh, I gotta do that. Maybe, I'll choose this flight because it's, sure, it's more expensive, but it gets you quicker, right? Oh, I don't care where it's, like back then I would have been like, oh, this one has a stopover. But it's cheaper by like $500, $600.
But are you thinking about your daughter when you're doing this? Because like, in terms of what she's getting used to,
I think
and then
about
how you grew up. I mean, this is going to be such a...
Yeah,
right?
no, that's one thing I've been like...
You almost mad? Are you going to get mad later on? So you guys are like 5-star hotel in like Machu Picchu, and he's like, oh man, like I was selling flip flops.
It's an interesting topic because I have former coworkers who we all have different mindsets on this, on how to raise kids. One of my friends' mindset is I'm going to have them start from scratch, just like I did, because I needed them to know what it was like to hustle and grind and to get to where I was. Yeah, my thing is like, man, why are you doing that? Like I feel like for all of us people. Like every generation should be a stepping stone to, as we move up in society, right? So like I went back to my grandfather who came from a village. His burden was to take all of my dad and his 6 and 7, 8 siblings from the village 2 hours away from the main city of Hyderabad in South India. And his burden was to take them out of that village and into the big city in Hyderabad for a better education. My dad and my mom's burden was to leave India, comfortable life, to America, a place that they've never, visited, and it's like culture shock. Their burden was to leave their entire family, live on their own, and having to raise 3 kids for our sake, right? That was the next stepping stone. My job was to have a good job, provide. So my parents only cared about stability. They were not risk takers. They just want to come to America and say, hey, just get a stable job. Totally. That's it. We're not doing any entrepreneurial bullshit. We want to take risk. Yeah. It's like even then when I did the whole startup thing, my mom and dad were like, no, that's too risky. What are you doing? Yeah. Obviously it paid off. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is like my job is, hey, you know what? Like now if we're stable, even if we're stable, get a good, 6-figure salary. That'll be enough to provide my daughter with less worry about money. If I can help in some ways financially, then she can kind of pursue other things. Now, thankfully, she won't have to worry about it. I think now it's for her. It's like, hey, how can you move up in society and make positive changes?
Yeah.
Because you do. At the end of the day, you need money, and you need connections to make changes in this world. You know? So for me, I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna be as strict with you in terms of like what job you're going for. Because my dad and mom are doctor, lawyer, engineer. That was it. Pretty much that. Right. So now for me, I was like, hey, I don't want you to be stuck in these particular jobs. Whatever you're doing, I want you to, you know, be in the forefront and make positive changes. It could be as a journalist. It could be as a athlete.
Yeah.
I just want her to be the face for maybe, you know, our people maybe, or her gender, whatever it may be, you know, just be a change. And I think hopefully, you know, where I'm at, I can kind of provide that next step. And then, you know, maybe she can provide the next step. So that's how I think, you know, because I always look back to my grandfather. He started out from this small village in India and, you know, now it's at Times Square. You know, I was on the Times Square, which is like, that's within like 60, 70 years, you know.
That's crazy to think about it from that view.
So that's how I look at it. But then, you know, some people don't agree with that. Some people are like, hey, no, I want them to hustle just like I did. And they'll learn more from that. Now, obviously, the way I'm approaching this, you have to still bring some balance and show them what the real world is like and give them perspective. Hey, you're in an actual bubble. Yeah. This is not how the world works. You know, in reality, you're very, very fortunate and don't take it for granted. And you know what? I'm going to send you to India for 1 month. and just go there and see what life is like. I'm just joking. But
you just give her the plane ticket, nothing else.
Go.
Like, good luck. So,
you have to get out of that city and within 2 days. Let's see if you can do it. No, I'm just kidding. But like, I will definitely want her to I want to expose her to like all sorts of people. Yeah. Like, that's one thing I really I value about my friendship is that I have friends from all different backgrounds. Yeah. So I want her to be friends with everyone, man. I want her to be friends with like, you know, people who are in tech. I want her to be friends with people who are, you know, like, so my wife is from 1 and a half, 2 hours north of Sacramento. Yeah. So it's all rural farming. So my wife's family is all farmers. Oh. And so once a month, once every 3 weeks, I go up there, and it's a completely different mindset. Yeah, yeah. Different lifestyle. And I love it too. When I leave Silicon Valley and I go up there, I'm like, damn, I don't think people realize that just hour and a half, 2 hours north, you're in MAGA country. Yeah. You know? I'm not even joking. Yeah. It's like, you know, it's rural and it's like slower life pace. You would think it's like Nebraska. Yeah. But you're in California. Yeah. And you know, she gets to be exposed to that that lifestyle. That
every state is like Pennsylvania. People think of like Philly, right? Mm-hmm. You go an hour up, like it's completely rural. New York, all these big states. That's very common. Yeah. But do they even understand what you do?
So funny thing is, like, my wife, her aspirations was going to Chico State. They didn't know. This is like, I'm just talking about the past 10, 15 years here. Yeah. And so she's 30, in her lower 30s. And so, you know, she grew up with the internet. She actually, let's see. Yeah. She lived before the internet, I should say. Sure. So, you know, in the early stages, like, you didn't have all the resources that you have now, which is like, hey, you know, show me where the best college is in the country. And like, for them, it's a small town mindset where aspirations is only going to Chico State. She did not know about Stanford. She did not know about Berkeley. She didn't know anything like that. Yeah. And all of her friends and her families thought Chico State was the state. The best, yeah. You know, Aaron Rodgers, you know. I was going to say that. They all love Aaron Rodgers there. And so, like, for them, like, oh, man, we got to go Chico State. And so I'm just telling you, even just that. Like, when they heard Silicon Valley, like, they thought it was like, even for them, they thought it was like a foreign thing. Yeah. Oh, Silicon Valley, that sounds very like, what is that? You know, it sounds very like magical, almost like Disneyland. And so my wife didn't fully realize that until she got into college and like, oh, so this is Silicon Valley. Oh, because she was like, she was an engineering recruiter. She was an engineering recruiter. Yeah. So she got more exposed to it. And so it's crazy to me, just knowing that even her and like all the people there weren't fully aware of it.
It is not, in fact, Disneyland.
Yeah, I know.
Can't confirm. I grew up here.
Yeah, not Disneyland. Mickey Mouse here. Who was our Mickey Mouse here?
Who was our Mickey Mouse?
You would know better. Who is
Arb?
Okay. All right. Shout out Arb.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting just knowing that just 2 hours away,
Yeah.
people aren't really exposed to tech and just that Silicon Valley VC.
I love that you brought up Aaron Rodgers. Is like that's like the celebrity.
Yeah,
right
dude.
there
He's
that
like
people know.
he's like the hero, you know?
Is he really?
Actually, I don't know if he's
Yeah.
that much of a hero, but when people, even like my, you know, her uncles and aunts know who Aaron Rodgers is, and they don't even watch football at all.
Okay.
And it's that
Yeah.
kind of thing,
Interesting.
right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like Michael Jordan back in the 90s, you can go to any village in India,
And they'll know.
they'll know who
he is.
Michael Jordan is,
Yeah.
right? That's the kind of power he had, you know?
So how did your relationship with your wife change after you guys came into money?
Mm. So I think it's interesting because I'm more of like I'm more free spirited risk taker kind of person. And so, you know, having a wife that's not, is more risk averse is very nice to have because you have a balance. And so, you know, I've talked about all these things I did, you know, with watches and other stuff. And but my wife has always been there, just being the one to kind of pull me back and be like, "Hey, you need to calm down. Hey, I don't want to like, I don't want to be that person who's into money or anything like that."
Yeah.
And like, anytime I would talk about like even we're gonna IPO, she'd be like, I don't want to listen. I don't want to talk about it. I don't
Really?
Wow.
because she does not like the idea of having money. Like for her, it just seemed like it was like a burden, you know. And so I think because she's raised, you know, as you know, in a small town, a daughter of like a family, her family was all in farming.
Yeah.
That I think that mindset has always like kind of kept her to be humble because you know her family came from the 60s in the 50s 40s into farm, and that's all they've ever done. And so I think it's hard to make that kind of leap. Really hard to make that leap, and it could be scary for a lot of people, right? Some people jump in and like all about it, right? You see a lot of athletes do that.
Yeah.
And so I think just having her kind of keep me, you know, at bay helps a lot. And so I still think I'm like, my personality hasn't changed. I'm like the same guy. You know, like I said, what money does is give you peace of mind and like accessibility to follow your passions or your hobbies. And so, but yeah, at the same time, she kind of keeps me in check as well.
Does she freak out when you buy these watches for like 100,000?
Yeah, she does freak out.
What car do you drive?
Right now, actually, I don't have a car at all.
So
I do have something coming, but I don't have a car right now.
Oh, I think we heard about that. But there was there was a white the first day you showed up to the office.
Yeah,
there was a white Ferrari parked outside for like a week or two. We were like, "Was that his?" Like,
yeah, we thought it was yours 100% when we walked out.
Because there's no way it's like just it happens.
Well, do you know which one it was? It was like a Roma F8 or
458.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
That was a nice spec. Yeah.
That car became a good investment car if you bought it. Well, Ferraris hold their value better than a lot of other supercars. If you're not talking about collectibles, they just do it. They have a great business model also in terms of making sure that if you buy a car, they want you to sell it back to them. And yeah, they have a cool business model where like, you know, some people might call it cool, some people might not, but they work it so that their cars always hold value. So they pretty much, if you buy a car from them, they want you to sell it back to them at a fair price, as opposed to, you know, selling it outside. And what that really does, if you do, you're gonna be in favors with them to get the better version of their cars. So then they could sell the cars at the price that they want to sell that. But but I don't have anything like that yet. I don't think I'm that crazy. Also,
Okay.
Did you buy your wife something like expensive that you know she'd never buy?
A watch. I got her watch. Yeah.
How'd she take it?
I think she, because I always talk about it, she appreciates that particular space. Like when I talk to her about a watch, I'll talk about the craftsmanship and just like how hard it is to get. Like the best way to explain to a girl is just purses. You know, it's the same world. Yeah. Oh, Hermes bag. If you want to get the Birkin bag.
Do those hold value though?
Oh yeah, the Birkin bag totally holds value. Yeah. So they all follow the same model where it's like, oh, you want to get the Birkin bag? Birkin bag? Well, you gotta buy all this other shit first, just to have a chance to get that. Yeah. And, you know, you have to buy their shoes, their like belts, blankets, and they might look you in the eye and say maybe. But that's the one bag that's like every girl aspires to have, you know, and that's the ultimate flex. In the watch world, it might be like a Richard Mille or a Patek Philippe.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. And so, but yeah, I explained all that to her in purse analogy.
I see that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then it makes sense. Oh, okay, yeah, I totally get it. And so, but then I also tell her, always show her these articles. Hey, Rolex has done better than these assets in the past 10 years.
It's true though.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah. So, obviously things could change completely,
Sure.
right? And you should not be doing it for the investment purpose. But that's what I tell her still, though.
Yeah.
Hey, investment, we can sell it if you don't want to. And then the other thing is this. This is what happened with a lot of these Russian billionaires.
Yeah.
They just bought up a lot of these Rolexes and Pateks and even higher end ones, and they just bought them and they would just travel with them and just leave the country because there could be $1 million watch on your wrist, and the average TSA person would have no clue.
You don't have to declare it if it's a watch, right?
That's
interesting.
Yeah. But what other thing can you hold that's $1 million that's just on your wrist? There aren't many things that you can just even 50. Forget $1 million. I'm showing you. Yeah. If you want to take 50K and travel with it, as you can literally just put it on your wrist and just go, and no one's gonna even know that's a 50K. The average person won't know this is a 50K or 100K watch. And so that's one of the things I always tell my wife, hey man, if we ever get caught up in something, hey, I'm going to sell my watch and we can get tickets or something like that. So I just throw all these random examples of why it's nice to have a watch.
Yeah. If we ever end up in something, instead of going back to top of the world, selling these watches.
You know what to do. You got us.
Yeah.
We need to buy watches if we end up in
There's some dealer at top of the world.
Some dealer on top of the world.
He's willing to buy it.
Probably.
Buy it from you.
Probably sitting in a Prius.
Yeah.
I have one set of questions before we start to wrap things up. It's the rapid fire section.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice I ever got was, this is from my dad. It was just obtaining peace of mind and always just being good to people. Maybe that's 2 pieces of advice, but he was always the kind of person that he'd always give even when he didn't have money. And don't just assume, someone is, going to be malicious with the money that you give them. Because if you're that, then there are going to be people who miss out on actually even getting money, right? And so I'm not gonna lie, when I was in college, if I saw someone who was on the street, I would think this person probably is going to just blow it away on alcohol or so and so.
Yeah.
But then my dad would just talk to me, like, why are you doing that? Even if 90% of them are like that 10% are going to miss out on it. And your intention should be to just give, give to people. And, sure, most of them could be, but if it goes to even 10% of those people, you're doing good. And so, in that fashion, for me, I try not to judge, and I try to just give. And heck, if someone is malicious, maybe you learn from it,
Yeah.
But don't go in thinking, negatively. Just always be giving. And so that's one thing. And also, obviously, trying to obtain peace of mind.
Yeah.
That's probably the reason why I left Applovin, was the fact that I can keep chasing money as much as I want, but I've got a lot of I've had a lot of things happen where my dad passed away, where I was like, hey man, he never got to see retirement. He passed away before retirement, and he worked 2 jobs almost his entire life, but for what? And he never got to really take time to relax and fully spend time. He did everything for us, which is amazing, and I am where I am because of him. But for me, I was like, okay, I've seen that happen, and I've had even my I never mentioned but my younger second brother, he passed away, from a DUI guy. He was drinking, he hit my brother. So I've had all these moments in life where I was like you gotta spend time with your family more, and just try to find peace of mind. And I know a lot of people who have money that still go to therapy and still have mental health issues, and it's not their fault, but sometimes it's part of it is you're too stuck in some too deep in some world, and you need to pull out, right? And so I see that with a lot of people here,
Yeah.
They could back out, but they're so invested into this world where they want to be known as someone, and they want to have their title is their value, and they have nothing outside of their work that brings them value. And that's maybe why they're staying clinging on to that one piece, right? And so for me, I was like, hey, find peace of mind outside of work, and just try to obtain that as much as possible, and spend time with family.
Yeah.
Well, what's the worst advice you've ever received?
Worst advice was someone saying take half your money and put on the roulette table in Vegas.
What? Who gave you that?
Well,
advice?
what kind of friends you got, man?
Like obviously he was semi joking, but he's like, there are people who are gamblers, right?
Yeah.
They really always feel like they can do it. They always feel like they have it. They have some special technique. They have something that could like maybe not even the roulette table, but just like go to Vegas and just play blackjack. And like, look, hey man, like I think we can do this. I have a strategy. So I mean that's one thing I could come from the top of my head. Like, yo man, just take half of it and just put it and let's just see what happens. Now, that's like risky to another level, right? And that's like the ultimate thrill, maybe. But like that would probably be one. Probably investing, right? Like it's like. People come to you and try to invest you in different ideas, and like some of them obviously in hindsight seem stupid, like in the crypto space or other investments. But yeah, mainly that. But I think everyone's been pretty good at not telling me anything stupid. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's because I've surrounded myself around enough smart people to not be approached by people who have the dumbest ideas. But like, I mean, I have people who told me like, why are you not working anymore? Yeah. Why you're leaving a lot of your potential on the table. Yeah. You could be doing so much more. You've gone this far now. Why not you, do your own thing or keep building. Maybe I will at some point. Yeah. I've never said retirement. I've said I'm just at a state of just doing nothing. Yeah. But really, I'm really spending time with family. But I think there is a negative stigma with not working. Interesting. Or that's a redundancy. There's a stigma with not working. And it's totally understandable. It's understandable when you're in Silicon Valley where your mindset is to always keep building. Yeah. And it's good. And it's great for everyone who's into that. But there's a certain state where for me, I felt like, you know what, I'm going to take some time back and not do that and kind of figure things out. How can I use my time, how can I use my time to do better things? And so, look, it could be volunteer work and charity work. My wife, that's another reason why I love my wife is that she's so focused on volunteer work that she brings me into these things. And I'll go in doing like food distribution and stuff like that. And so, that I do feel way more fulfilled doing stuff like that. Building, I do love it. I still do side projects with, I'll start coding and doing stuff like that. And it feels good like, hey, I still got it. Or hey, I'm still in the space. But, I don't have to feel fulfilled doing that too. I can do so many other things. But going back to it, I think there's you should keep doing that one thing. Because maybe for them, that's all they know. And that's the only thing that does give them piece fulfillment.
What's the worst piece of advice Furqan has given you?
Oh, man.
Because we all talk about, everything great he's done. And obviously
worst advice, man.
Or just the dumbest thing Furqan has ever said to you.
Dumbest thing, man. That's a good question.
We'll cut this if you tell us.
It's time for the ad break.
Now I'm trying to think, what is the worst advice he's ever given me, man? That's a good question.
Come on, there's got to be something.
He's like going through a list right now.
Oh, I'm actually why are you thinking?
I'm going back to 2000, going back from Vegas, trying to say what has he said to me? I'm like, yo, this guy's tripping. I'm literally trying to think. Honestly, but I can't. I'm not even trying to like.
Wow.
I'm not trying to even prop him up or hype him up or anything.
Yeah.
I'm legitimately trying to think about. Maybe the worst advice was telling me a recommendation on a certain restaurant to go to. Maybe, but like besides that, I can't really think of
which one.
Dude, I can't even remember.
He has good food racks.
Yeah, he has good food racks. Exactly. This is probably a bigger deal than anything else to him.
Dude, I'm actually like legit trying to think about it. Maybe it was an investment into something.
Yeah.
But I know he invested in Zynga when it was at like $8-9 back in 2009 or 10, and I know him and my other brother were hella on it.
Yeah.
And that thing dropped down to $2, something low. But that's all.
And you didn't get in on that?
No, I didn't get on that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it made sense because like mobile gaming is going to be the next big thing. I think Zynga, actually the problem with Zynga was heavily Farmville. And they were super dependent on Facebook at the time. And I think Facebook made some changes that kind of screwed them.
They're still around now. They have the ads platform. I think that's their main.
They got bought out. They got bought by some company. I forgot who was it. but they got bought out for like they got bought out before the downturn in the economy. They got bought out for like $12 billion.
Oh, really?
If they did not get bought out,
They would have been done.
They would have been worth like $2 billion, $3 billion, or something like that. So yeah, they made a right move right at the right time.
Yeah.
What's the best purchase you've ever made in terms of peace of mind?
Best purchase: sending my daughter to school like at the age of 2, because now I have my own free time. Because she's like a cannonball, man.
What school for 2-year-olds exists?
It's just like private school, just like
What do they teach them?
Ad Astra.
it's just more so for me to not have to deal with her 24/7. Like I love my kid, but like
But what do they do?
they just teach them like how
Basic
not to drool,
calculus?
bro. How not to drool, how not to, like
Not to drool.
Yeah.
Do they sit them in a circle in a desk?
But like all the rages is Montessori.
Oh,
And so
Okay.
the Montessori way of life, Montessori way of teaching, and like, I mean, for me, it's more like, man, I get a couple hours to myself, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, like I said, I love spending time with my family, but then like sometimes
Only in Legoland.
She gonna come back to this podcast in like 10 years.
I know.
Like,
you got to replay that to her. You'll be like, damn, my dad really say that about me?
On a public podcast?
Yeah, I know.
He said only a few hours though. We'll give him credit.
We'll give him-
Only
Yeah.
a few hours.
Yeah, but like, obviously I get to go out and like come here and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, it gives me some hours of sanity, because like I think she's like a ball of energy that's unmatched, man. Like, I saw a tweet like a couple months ago where this guy had a kid recently.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, in all my life of like doing startups, raising a kid, spending a day with a child is way more exhausting than any startup that they've ever done. And like, I felt that, man. Like the 10, 12 years, whatever it was, I was at Applovin, is nothing to the amount of exhaustion I have just running around chasing a child. It's on another level, man.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Are we thinking about Arab?
No.
What are we
Someone else on Twitter.
No. Why am I blanking?
Think about what he just said.
Chasing a child?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chasing child sounds very sus.
What's so fun?
We're going to bleep this, but Joe.
You know Joe here, right?
Oh.
Okay, now I got it. You know what? Screw the chasing the child.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
But no,
Joe
it's
here just had a kid.
Oh, yeah,
all
yeah, I
he
follow
tweets
him.
about is like
His kid?
how
His
annoying
kid
his
is
kid is.
Okay, I follow him on Twitter. Yeah, it
I
sounds
think he
like-
literally had a tweet. It's like,
Do not
on,
have
like, how
children.
Children is tougher than the startup.
Oh, he
Some
did say that.
comparison,
I follow him. I did not know
He literally said, if you're thinking of having kids, reply to this and I will change your mind.
I mean, honestly, like, no.
Wait, did he say that? Okay.
No joke.
Sorry, Joe.
No joke. Like, if you talk to any parent or anyone who's having a child, or if you're someone who's about to have a child,
Yeah.
and you go up to any parent and you ask them, "Hey, what's it like?"
Mhm.
I kid you not, man. Like every parent will have this like 3 seconds, 4 seconds of pause
Yeah.
where they're having flashbacks to Vietnam, and just kind of like,
Whoa.
like, dude,
Okay.
that shit was crazy. Like the first 1 or 2 years,
Yeah.
and they won't tell you explicitly how bad it is. They'll just kind of be like that, it'll be tough. And that's all they'll be like.
Get your
'Cause
sleep now.
They're really just thinking about Vietnam, like,
Yeah.
but it's more like, that was a war zone, man.
Yeah.
Like having a child in the first year or 2 years is not easy. And no one can prepare you for what's to come. And so it's better to just let them experience it. And that's kind of the advice I always feel like parents give to parents who are about to have kids. It's like, man, like you have no idea, because there's not enough preparation or words to have you be prepared. And yeah, it's very crazy. I wish you guys luck.
I hope you don't have kids.
He says, I don't wish you guys. He didn't finish.
Yeah.
Let's
I
give him
have
the
to change
benefit of
it
the
up,
doubt.
yeah. I mean, I wish you all the best. You guys should have kids, it's great. But, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. You can't prepare for
Do you
it.
just give the kid an iPad when she's
That's you.
bothering you? Yeah,
That's you.
because that works for me.
For himself.
It's great, but it's also a horrible thing too. iPad, because like,
Yeah. Are you like cognizant of like just electronics and?
I try to be, but then sometimes where I'm like, Just take it. I need 30.
This poor daughter, bro. She's gonna come back to the podcast and take.
I need 30 minutes to myself here, you know, because like it's a lot of just running.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, man. I'm like, I'm exhausted here. Here's 30 minutes of it. But like, yeah, we try, man. We try super hard to not be, you know, device dependent.
Yeah.
But man, that's sometimes the only thing that kind of keeps them just calm.
Yeah.
Just for a little bit, where I can just watch my Warriors for just a little bit.
But I was gonna say that's kind of, at least with me, it's like the most common thing is watching a sports game, but having it on like it's just, isn't it the same thing with the kid, right?
That's true, I guess.
Right?
I mean, at least I try.
I'm trying to give credit to the kid here and say he's just like the kid.
But at least I'm trying to put on like educational stuff. Okay. There's a lot of trash out there that is considered children's show. Like you guys will hear about them, you know, at some point. Coco Melon, you know.
Bro's got beef with Coco Melon.
What are you saying about Coco Melon?
All parents have beef with Coco Melon.
That's
Coco
true.
Melon, Blippi. There's this one man wrecking machine, Blippi. He has millions of views, man. He's a one man like.
He said Blippi is a wrecking machine.
Yeah, dude, I swear to God, this guy. He's
Blippi's
like
some dude from Fremont, top of the world.
Why did you say it like that? What are you doing? A starting lineup?
No,
one man wrecking machine
like,
named Blippi.
His content is like trash. Like he's this guy who he like kind of dumbs down himself as like on the level.
It's like a person.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a person that wears an orange top hat.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, an orange. What do you call it? What the golfers wear, man? The nice
golfer visor.
No, it's like the hat that's. You know, like the old golfers back in the day used to wear
the bucket hat.
No,
I forgot what it's called, man.
Okay.
But this guy's orange suspenders, orange pants, and like he just jumps around, hops around, and like goes to different like places like water parks and like theme parks. Like
how old is this dude?
Like 40 or something.
Whoa, what?
Okay, 35 or something. I don't know. But this guy gets like millions and millions and millions and millions of views, man. Damn. It's insane. But like you don't learn anything from him. But it's all just like sensory stuff, right? Kids are just watching this kid with a guy with a high pitched voice, making funny sounds, and like that's not good, man. That's not good for the kid. Where are they learning?
Yeah,
they're not really.
We're in the wrong game. This is what we.
That's what I was going to tell you, Vishal. Time to get one of those golfer hats
to get views,
dude. I've thought about that too.
Why have you thought about this? You don't.
I know. I've really thought about, man, I should just hire some people from from India, because a lot of them done that. No, a lot of them have done that. They've copied Coco Melon.
Okay.
And like their English is not like proper. Proper English.
Yeah.
It's like with the Indian accent. And I'm sure they're probably doing really well because.
Why you can't say five?
No, you can't say no. Oh, yeah, you're right. I can't say
but we're like talking about ourselves. Yeah.
We're considered ABC.
Y'all are bad kid, bro.
We're considered ABCD. So
American
it's like
born, confused Daisy?
Yeah.
Why confused?
Because they think we're not in tune with our culture.
Speak Hindi right now.
But I'm not confused. I chose not to speak.
But that's why they think you're confused. Like you're throwing away your heritage.
I'm from New York. I will beat the shit out of you. Don't get me wrong.
That's why they're gonna call you ABC. Yo, man, this guy thinks he's from New York, not from Bangalore.
I'd say this. Anybody come up to me and say if you say letters of the alphabet to me, you will have a problem.
XYZ.
Yeah, you will get hurt.
Okay.
Well, we could take that.
We could take it to Fremont, top of the world.
You will get hurt.
Okay.
All things end at top of the world.
Is that
good or bad?
I promise you that is not the case. It's like one like mid blurry Instagram picture. That's about all that goes on up there.
That's true. We should go check up on Instagram. What's the latest top of the world picture? You're probably right. It's probably something.
From top of the world to the stock market. That's forget about flea market.
Flea market's top of the world.
It's the stock market. There's levels
there had to be
to
a
this.
stopover. There was some beat in the middle.
There was some beat. That didn't make your Instagram post?
No, it was cool enough, man. I realized it was shitty. There's other cool things in the world.
Yeah, like top, like what's it called? Communication Hills.
Yeah, that was another cool place.
Bro, he went at that moment. He stood there like with the 30 dudes, and he was like, "There's got to be something else."
Yeah, no,
there's more to life. There's got to be more to life.
There was. I kid you not, man. If I could go deep into this. There were like Bloods and Crips there, and they're all. I'm not even kidding, Drew. I'm not even kidding.
The Shipbox pre-med friend.
Exactly. I'm not even joking. That's exactly it. You know.
That's like this is a Nintendo world. What what is this?
That's why I was like very like, that was when you have a crisis, right? There's an existential crisis. You're like, what am I doing here? This is not my place. Maybe that had to have happened.
Yeah.
Where I was like, yo, this has gone too far. I don't belong on top of the world. Not yet. This is not the top of the world.
This is the bottom. This is the real top of the world. You thought there was a better top.
This is literally the top of the world here. I'm trying to go, figuratively.
When you tell your kid about like being on top of the world, you don't want it to be that, right?
I don't want her ever to know what top of the world is.
At least go to Sierra.
If she ever tells me I was in Fremont at top of the world, going to India.
Go take your iPad and go to India.
And watch your
she's
Indian
gonna love
cocoa
this
milk.
episode.
His poor daughter.
There's a lot for her to get from
poor
this.
kid.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully she can see it one day.
Yeah, so we'll finish off with this. I went through your Twitter.
Oh shit, bro.
We got some interesting ones here.
Yo, I see Haroon. And you don't follow Rayan? Oh, this is a doc. Okay.
No, this is me. But all right, why do you have to?
He doesn't
I'll follow
Rayan.
Ryan. I'm sorry, Ryan. I'll follow you.
Who's Ryan?
He was on our last episode.
Bro, I've been on Twitter for like a month. I don't even know how to use it.
Okay.
He set up the account.
I did set up his account.
Gotcha.
I'm going back top of the world this time with Rayan.
Should we do this one?
We should take a picture over there.
This is interesting. You tweeted, so in 2019, you tweeted, if you threw a party for all the people who always ask who's all going to be there when being invited to something, would there even be a party? There's a lot of layers of this one.
I usually tweet about things that like happen at that moment, and I'm like, okay, that seems like a very tweet-worthy thing. But it happens, right? Like, it's almost offensive, right? When someone says, hey, who's gonna be there?
It's like
am I not
enough for you?
And am I not that great of a host, to make something magical for you?
Yeah.
There has to be like people there that maybe can make it, great. I don't know. It just seems weird to me that when people ask that, it's kind of annoying, honestly. Like, hey, who else is going to be there? Because it really depends on, like, if I say, oh, yeah, only so-and-so people are going to be there, then that means they're not going to be there. It's really more so dependent on who's being there as opposed to not coming from me.
But could there be an app for that? Like, if you're a C-level, D-level celebrity, and it's like you need to start off the who's going to be there. And like your friends might know that person.
Meetup.com for D-level celebrities.
that need to like, oh, we need you for the party to pop off.
So it's like Raya, but worse.
Right?
Yeah.
Raya, but worse.
I've actually seen like how much it costs to have certain artists come to your party. And obviously there's different levels. Like if you're trying to get Justin Bieber, you're going to have to pay $1 million or so.
Yeah.
But I remember this is like a couple years ago. I don't know how much has changed, but like you could get Ja Rule for $50K to come to your party. It's not bad, right? I mean, like he's no longer Ja Rule that we know. When people think of Ja Rule, they think of Fire Festival now. But like before,
he's one of the biggest artists in the game.
He had Ashanti. He was supposed to be like the prototype to Tupac, or like the thug.
Yeah, you're right.
The thug
do you
rapper.
even know who Ja Rule is?
No, not
But
really.
you know Fire Festival.
Absolutely.
You watched the documentary.
Yeah,
Do you remember the black dude, the bald dude?
I didn't watch the documentary. I should finish it.
But like, hey, maybe you don't even want to like have him perform. You just come here to talk about what happened at Fire Festival. Hey man, here's 50 G's. Can we just do a podcast?
That's true.
Just sorry.
Shout out, Ja, if you're watching, we'd love to have you on. Okay, here's a good one because it's on theme. In 2015, you tweeted, "Just stole some candy from a baby. It was a lot harder than I thought." But what are you doing, man?
It must have been one of my little cousins or something like that.
Why are you stealing the candy from the kid?
Is it stealing if it's in the family?
Meet me on top of the world.
He's gonna come back 10 years later and say, "Yo, I remember you, man." He stole my lollipop. No, it must have been like one of my like little kids, and I just told, "Hey, man, can I have it?"
Yeah. Here,
that was a joke. I'm just trying to be funny more than anything else.
We'll end with this one because we talked about this. Okay. How to impress a girl. 1, search for Ferrari Rolex on Google.
That's so funny.
2, go to your FB newsfeed, Facebook newsfeed. 3, watch as she is in awe of your targeted ads. Bro, that's chess. That's some high level.
That works, man. Just keep having her scroll through your Instagram, your TikTok, and people now know what targeted ads are.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like some mysterious thing. Yeah. People now know. I mean, it's been a while, but like when they search for something, it's going to come up. So I think indirectly, a girl would know, hey man, this guy's been searching some real high end stuff.
Yeah.
It could be and like on YouTube, right? If you guys are all watching something on YouTube and you didn't pay for it, you just get the ads.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you get a Bentley commercial and maybe some high end, fashion, some clothes.
Yeah.
That would kind of plant a seed in their head and like, damn, this guy's into the nice things in life, and it's just another, another way for her to get a little closer to you, or maybe choose you amongst all the other options.
That's how you stand out.
If that's the reason, bro, you gotta run.
I know, but okay,
that's the difference.
Depends what you're trying to do. Are you trying to have a long-term relationship, or are you just trying to have some fun?
Yeah. What's the motivation?
Yeah. Okay. If you're trying to get married, that's not the strategy to use. No, for sure, it's not. You try to be the complete opposite of that. I have a friend who just does just that. He was part of Applovin too.
Yeah.
And he just chills and retires. He's starting to do his own thing now, finally. But like when he meets women, he tells them he doesn't do anything. And it's very surprising to her. Like, what do you mean you don't do anything? Yeah, I don't work. I don't have a job.
That's the Sean Parker line from the social, remember?
Oh, I didn't know that. But and that in itself is makes you very mysterious.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you don't work? That's like, it makes probably a girl want to know more about your life. Like, hey, you're free all the time and you can go to nice restaurants and like, you can do this and that. Like, what the heck is up with you?
True.
Right. And so
that's like what Tate said.
It works. Yeah, Andrew Tate.
Tate, but he was saying like the biggest flex is like Tuesday afternoon. 100%. You go and ball out at like a restaurant.
I tell everyone my biggest flex is I don't have an alarm clock.
Yeah,
like I don't.
That's a huge flex.
I don't even wake up to an alarm at all.
I don't have one either, but that just says more about me and his work ethic than it does.
That's true. Like when I was at Applovin, the first thing I would do when I would be conscious, obviously you don't open your eyes, you start thinking. I would be stressing out about, dude, I hope I don't have 50 Slack messages about some system that's on fire and like, we're losing money, 100K every hour on the hour. Like if something like advertising, like especially if you're making you're making $1 billion revenue and like one outage could cause like $100,000 boom. Stuff like that happens, right? And that's like high intense pressure situations. And it's kind of like I wear contacts. Like I got to get out and just somehow I'm like looking out without contacts, like, trying to fix this.
Holy shit. Yeah.
So that was a 10, 12 year thing. And like
10, 12 years of that.
Yeah. I was still act like I'm a startup guy, I was still acting like I was the guy who was the fifth person. But now it's like when I wake up, like I don't really have anything like that to think about. It's more like, what do I want to do today? That's kind of what I have. Obviously, spending time with my daughter.
Yeah.
And looking at whatever things I'm interested in, like in terms of like the economy, or like I still like to keep up to date with what's going on with the economy, what's going on in the tech.
Yeah.
And then I'll maybe I'll go tell my wife, hey, do you want to go have lunch somewhere?
Yeah.
And like that. And I'm around old people. Around like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, and they're all talking. They're all flexing they're flexing with each other about the trips that they've gone. Right? You have a 6-year-old lady talking to her other 6-year-old lady, saying, "Hey, I went to Bora Bora the other day," and like I'm just listening to all this. I'm like, I'm amongst these guys right now, dropping my kid off, and I do enjoy it though. But yeah, it's the peace of mind, I think, and that's a flex, I think.
Yeah, that's a good note to end off on.
Yeah.
What do you? I guess are you active on social?
So I've thought about doing some stuff on social. Like I have my own personal Instagram where I like showcase where I've gone, what I've done, and on Twitter I just try to be funny.
We know.
I don't know if it's funny or not. Maybe it's trash, but like, you guys can tell me off there. Don't say it here, but you can tell it off there.
I thought that was funny. Yeah.
Funny. Yeah, there's stuff that's been crazier I've had to remove when I was in my 20s,
Good idea.
Good job. There's still a lot of stuff I didn't want to read.
Almost tanked IPO.
I gotta go back and
it's not much you removed. I wonder what you scrubbed.
What did you remove?
Hey, man, I'm from East Side San Jose, so it was like what you're talking about, how Shafaq has like recording of me.
Okay, stupid. Cut. Where can people find you? Drop the Instagram.
Yeah, but like my Instagram is Tariq Ahmed. TariqAfaqahmed. Most of the stuff is just like stuff I'm just really what that Instagram is all about. It's like 10, 20 years down the line, my daughter would be like, yo, my dad was sick. You know, he had the sickest life. You know, you see those TikToks of all these like Gen Zs showing their parents when they were younger.
Yeah,
I want to be that dad. It's like, oh man, your dad was so cool, man.
So cool, but he didn't want to see you.
He sent me to India.
He's a $100,000 watch, and then I sent her to India.
The iPad.
Economy, not even business.
Economy. Oh man. All right. Well, before this gets any worse, thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. We will see you next week.